I got it.
You got it or I got it? I thought you were doing most of it.
No, it's already too late. So let's three lines, three middle lines of the widest lines. Again, we're talking about bor, right? So we said in the Mishnah that a bar has to be 10 tfachim. In order to be chayiv, the bar has to have a depth of at least 10 tfachim. And the Mishnah said if it's less than 10 tfachim, and a shor or chamar fall into it and dies, so then you're potter. But if it got damaged, then you're chayiv. Meaning, so the minimum depth that you need is 10 tfachim. So Tanan, three middle lines down. So let's say, oh, I'm sorry, that was one thing, and then the other thing is what damage does the 10 tfachim do? Right? Does the 10 tfachim is the damage because of the impact, falling 10 tfachim, which is anywhere between 30 to 40 inches, so that falls enough to kill, or is it the heat? The heat that's in the bottom of the bar. So the heat at the bottom of the bar kills the shor. Right? So which one is it? So we had a machlokes Rav and Shmuel. So the Gemara is going to ask kashas. Tanan, how you pchusin me'tor tfachim. See, it's the middle lines are mem on the nun on the base. Right? The middle lines, 3 lines down, 2 dots. So Tanan, how you pchusin me'tor tfachim. If the bar was less than 10 tfachim, and a shor chamar fell into it and died, right? So potter, he's potter, right? Because it's less than 10 tfachim. But if he got damaged, right, in there, then the owner is chayiv. Potter my time. Why is he potter? Lav mishum the less chavata. Isn't it because there was no hit? Meaning, if it's less than 10 tfachim, it's not enough of an impact to cause death. So the Gemara says, "Lo, mishum the less havala." There's no hot air down there. Meaning, it's less hot air. The deeper you go in a pit, right? That's why they got to constantly pump air out of tunnels, right? Because the deeper you go, the less air there is to breathe, and memela that can get killed. But less than 10 tfachim is not enough. So the Gemara had a havamina that it's because of the impact, and the Gemara says no, it's because of the hevel, less hevel. If he got damaged, then he's chayiv halespa havala. There's no hevel there, so why should he be chayiv? Right? Which l'chayra this seems to be only a kasha on Rav, because Shmuel would say Shmuel goes both. Again, Rav says it's just hevel. Right? But Shmuel says it's both, hevel and being hit. So
there's no foul air or not enough to cause damage.
Not enough. The Gemara is thinking now, the Gemara's havamina now, it's either all or nothing. It's either all hevel or no hevel. There's no in between. The Gemara's teretz is going to be this in between. I can't say I understand the Gemara's havaminas here. The Gemara right now is thinking it's all or nothing. Either hevel will kill and no hevel will be fine. And then the Gemara is going to be taretz. The Gemara says, "Amri ein aval lemisa v'yesh aval l'nezakin." There is not enough hevel to kill, but there is hevel for damage. Right? So Rashi says, "Cholam machmas hevel v'kichesh." Because of the hevel, it's what they see. They say smoking is damaged. Right? Smoking is not healthy. Right? Smoking is not. Someone just sounded like that. Yeah, smoking is not healthy. Correct. So, no offense, Gershon. For some people, it's healthy. But for the normal person, it's unhealthy. So I was once speaking to a doctor, and I said, there's not so many people with lung cancer. They make it sound like it's only lung cancer. The doctor said, no, it's not pshat. It's only lung cancer. It makes the whole body unhealthy. So that if there's other machlas, they have a harder time recuperating because of the smoke. Right. The same thing here. The hevel will cause the damage, not meaning the hevel itself might not directly cause damage, but it can indirectly. It's not obviously it's more than a grama, because otherwise it'd be a grama and then you'd be putter. Right? Okay, but that's a whole different kash on this whole hevel business. Right? Okay. Anyways, next, Ahutura, interesting story. Ahutura, the Nafal Arisa to Deloitte. There was a shar that fell into an arisa is a hole, the Deloitte that they used to lift things out of. Meaning, what do you call it? An irrigation ditch. That's the way the arts will touch it. An irrigation ditch. So it fell in there. Now the assumption is, we're going to see this from the next Gemara, that an irrigation ditch is only 6 tefachim deep. Right? I thought Rashi brought it here. No, okay, I don't know. But you think we're going to see that it's only 6 tefachim deep. It's not 10 tefachim deep. Right?
Rashi says.
Rashi does say.
Amma or Rechava Amma. And Rashi never maskul the Daloi.
Yeah, but it doesn't say 6.
It's Amma al Amma.
Oh, an Amma, 6 tefachim. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you. I was looking Amma tefach. Right. Yeah, an Amma 6 tefachim. Thank you. I mean, it's a shiloh. It's 5 or 6 tefachim. Okay, shine. But we're going to see from an Amud Aleph, we're going to see later that it's 6 tefachim really. So who told the Nafal Larisa the Delay? There was a shar that fell into this irrigation ditch, which is only 6 tefachim deep. So Shachte Moreh, the master, the owner of the shar, quickly shechted it because he was a smart guy, right? Meaning before he could see whether it would die, he shechted it. So Tarfei Rav Nachman, so Rav Nachman made a treif, and he said it's no good. You can't eat this. Meaning he was trying to shecht it because he didn't want it to die without. He didn't want it to die without shchita and become an avela. So he quickly shechted it. And then Rav Nachman told him, "You're a wise guy. It's treif." However, Nachman, shakil. If you would have taken shakil marei the haitura kibul the kava the kamcha, if the owner of this shar would have taken a kava flour, basil, ton of midrash, and then he would have gone to the bismedish. And him shasam eis leis kshera, right? Then they would have told him, or he would have learned that if he waits 24 hours after an accident and then shechts it, it's kosher. He wouldn't have lost his shor, which is worth Kamma kava. Meaning, he's using a mashal here. He's saying this guy could have eaten one little kava flour and would have saved himself lots of kava flour. So basically, what he's saying, this guy was a smart aleck, right? And he decided he's going to shech the animal before it dies on its own. But now, because of that, we have no idea whether the animal could have survived. But we paskin that when an animal's in an accident, you have to wait 24 hours. If after 24 hours that it's alive and well, then you're allowed to shecht it. But this guy didn't do that, right? So he was such a smart aleck, or so a wise guy, and he messed himself up. Right? That's what he's saying. But whatever it is, this thing was only 6 tefachim, right? So Alma Kasavar Rav Nachman Yesh Chavata B'Pavas Me'asara. Rav Nachman made him wait 24 hours. Right? So you see that this Chavata less than 10 tefachim. Fine. So that's it. So we see Rav Nachman holds a less than 10 tefachim. There is Chavata. But then they want to ask, Rav Nachman, same kasha Gemara asked before, if a bar is less than 10 tefachim, Potter, right? My timer, what's the reason? Isn't the reason that if the bar is less than 10 tefachim, isn't it because of chavata? Then that would be a kasher of Nachman. So we say, Loi mishum the less be havola. Not because of chavata, it's because there's no hot air there. So the Gemara says, Ihachi huzak boy chayev, less be havola. Same question and answer as before. If there's no hevel there, so then why would it be?
Chavata is. I'm sorry. Chavata is what? What are you saying? It is chavata.
Impact.
What?
Impact that it got hit. That it got hit. Right. So if it got hit, meaning the impact. The impact is what's causing it to die. So less than 10 tefachim is not enough of an impact for it to die. If it died,
then why can't he shecht it?
Right, so that's what's going to eventually be the Gemara's kasha, right? Meaning it's in what's going on with that. Let's finish the Shakratay. Yeah, good. So let's finish the Shakratay. So it's saying There's no hevel there either. So it says, Amrlay, in hevel lemisa, ain't hevel lemisa, I'm sorry, there's no hevel for misa, but yesh hevel in the zaken, there is hevel for damage. Right? So
But you
Mamela,
part if you, I don't understand.
what's the problem?
If you dig less than 10, the guy's part on damages also.
If you what are you saying? If
You
you
part if it had anything under 10, you part, right?
correct.
But it causes damage. So
No,
why don't you
only for
hire?
Misa. Only for Misa.
Right. So you're potter from Misa. You're potter from Misa, but he's still saying that it's possible that the impact or the hevel, really I think more impact than hevel, can cause it to die within the day. Meaning there's this extra chumrah that you have to wait to see if this shar or any animal that had an accident was affected by the impact. That's all. Once it lasts 24 hours and we say it survived it, then it's okay.
Okay.
Meaning it's an accident. If in the accident we don't know if it's going to have a fluke thing. So meaning for Misa, it's not, you're not going to be chayav Misa. If you dug a bar only 6 tefachim deep and somebody's animal falls in and it dies, you're not going to be chayav. However, there is a chance that it's going to become treif. So al stinim treifa, we want to wait. Right? Yeah. Fine. So that's the first kasha. And the Gemara saying the same thing, that it's hevel. Then there's 2 types of hevel. There's hevel for misa and hevel for damage. You say esvei. So beis haskila, how you gavaya shtei kaimas. The beis haskila, where the way skila happened when somebody was chayav skila, so they brought him upstairs, threw him off the roof, and then threw rocks at him, right, to kill him, right. So beis haskila, how you gavaya shtei kaimas. The height of the beis haskila was 2 stories. The Tanya, and we learned that the kaimas shaloi harei kan shalosh, and then you have the height of the person, who's also a story. So basically, the guy's being thrown down with three flights, right? And if you're going to say that there is impact, there is damage to less than 10 tefachim, why do you need to throw the guy off from 3 stories, right? Throw him off even less than 10 tefachim and he's going to die. So I'm going to ask, and according to you, why do you need 3 stories? Just even if you say you need 10 tefachim for it to die, so do 10 tefachim, right? Ella Rav Nachman. It's going like Rav Nachman. You have to love your friend like yourself. Which is a little bit of an interesting terminology. Choose for him a nice death, which is throwing him off a roof and throwing stones at him. But choose him a nice death, meaning you want to make sure he dies. So the higher he is from where he falls, the easier the death.
It makes sense.
Not only is it song of the daf, Yaakov, but it's also used for marriage and death. You have to learn it.
Yeah, I hear parrots, right?
The mesa is the kapara for the person that's chayiv. So you wanted to, if you just throw him off, you throw him off 10 tefachim. So he might not have given him the kapara that he needed. So you really love the real love is to make sure that he gets the kapara that he's needed. That it really should be a proper misa. I mean, it's a kind of a funny thing to say, but it's not so funny in the world of Ruchnius. The guy really needs this kapara. He's going to get up to Shemayim. They're going to say, "Hey, your misa wasn't complete. Go back." Like
really?
Your misa, I mean, so I
How's
would
he
think
getting up to Shemayim if his Misa is not complete?
there's less stairs.
No,
with them.
They didn't give people Misa. What are you guys talking about? I mean, they didn't give people Misa.
It's totally
You can talk about
theoretical.
kapara all you want. They gave people once every 70 years. They wanted to fire the Besdin, so they didn't give anybody Misa. So
Or
all the stuff you're about
every 70
kapara
years.
and
70
Misa,
is
it's
only
all
one
bull.
sheet. It
all
could be only 1 7.
It's
1 to 7 years.
baloney. It's baloney.
No, you're only saying one sheet in the Gemara over there. So what are you going off your rocker? Come on. Or you see that there was pizza given out, yeah?
Okay,
Where do you see
There
that?
wasn't.
No, it doesn't
Where
have
do you
to
see
be.
that?
The point being that if Misa would have to happen, this is how you have to do it.
Oh, maybe it never
Because-
happened. Maybe it's been Sarah Myra. It never happened. No.
That could be it never happened.
Hack
But
me a
it's,
cup.
if it,
Don't hack me
there's
a
still
cup.
halachas involved in how you have to do it.
it's listen, it is possible, right? Rachman, see what you're saying. I don't know. L'chayr, if he dies from the skila, that's not what you're saying is not pashup shad v'yach l'recha kamocha. The pashup shad is that everybody who knows they're going to be killed wants to be killed ASAP with the least suffering possible, right? So mamela, you want to make sure the guy dies to throw him off of a high enough roof that he'll die as fast. You're saying a chassidus shavot, maybe not.
So why not throw him off a 10-foot cliff? Why a 2-foot cliff?
So that's tomorrow's next kasha. Very good. So then throw him off a 10-foot cliff. For sure he'll die faster. Right? That's tomorrow's next kasha. Rachman is giving a little different twist. He's saying the whole point of skila is he gets a kapara. If he doesn't die from the skila, so maybe he won't get his kapara. That's Rachman's twist.
But he'll always die from the skila. Skila has two parts: throwing off the building, and if he doesn't die, then you throw rocks. It's the same skila.
Right, but let's say he doesn't die from the rocks either, or whatever. It takes him a long time.
He will. Taking time is the problem. That's the brother.
This is Tiago. This is Gershon L'Shitase Friday afternoon, where if it's less than 10 tefachim, not supposed to die, and therefore he's not dying. The cow or whatever. Wasn't that your Shita Friday?
Look at that. Peretz was listening.
Yeah, exactly. I was really bored.
There you go.
He was in Florida.
Is that right before Aaron muted me?
Yeah, he's in Florida, not making Shabbos, not barbecuing. That's what happens when he doesn't barbecue on a Friday. He hears everything. Okay, and he wasn't drinking either because it was a fast. Maybe that's what it was, Peretz.
That's Yaakov. Let me tell you, man. If this whole religion is full of baloney, then I'm not Michael for that Friday.
Okay, there we go. I'll be curses on the Mitzvah Shabbos.
It's different. See, Yaakov, it's not for Rachman saying that for the guy's kapara. We're worried about society, not the kapara. We don't want murderers walking around. And that's why when the Bezdin didn't kill enough people, the king killed the people. It's for the preservation of society, not for this baloney stuff about kapara. It's for murderers. Don't give me kapara. I'm not worried about kapara. I couldn't care less about a murderer. I'm very hard marker. If a guy murders people, kill him. I'm worried about his kapara. Let his mother worry about his kapara, not me.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Okay. Anyway, so Gemara asks the kasha, David's kasha, Yochi nagbatvei, lift him up way high up, throw him off a cliff. A Rabbaran certainly would want to do that, right? Throw him off from whatever you can, right? So it says mashum novel. Then it's disgusting, right? Which Rashi says it's gonna chop up his avarim, and that maneuver of a death you don't want. Yeah, good. Esvei. So they want to ask a kasha, another kasha. It says this is talking about Micah, right? A very interesting halacha here. This is another one of those where the Torah is lahepech from our das. Right? I don't know why we keep thinking we need rayas for that, but I guess that's our ego that we keep thinking that we maybe have to figure it out.
Yeah, just stop thinking that.
Yeah, you're right. I always have confidence that maybe somewhere, right? Yeah. So the Gemara says because somebody might fall off the roof, so you got to build a fence. Right? It means that somebody might fall off your roof, not onto your roof. What does that mean? Let's say the Rishus HaRabim was above your roof by 10 tefachim, meaning like, let's say in Harnof, right, Rabbaim, it's built into a mountain. So sometimes you have, you could walk in on one, you could have a porch below the Rishus HaRabim. Right, so there, you don't need. So I saw Rishus HaRabim gavaya mimenu asar tefachim, but nafal misaychel asaychel, and he falls from the Rishus HaRabim onto your roof, right? Potter, for that you potter, right? Amuka mimenu asar tfachim. But if the Rishus Harabim is below your roof 10 tfachim, and then you fall from your roof into Rishus Harabim, chayav yichayev. You hear this? So meaning your private roof where nobody belongs on it needs a fence. The Rishus Harabim where everybody belongs, and there's a much bigger chance of them falling into your roof, doesn't need. Right?
So all the bridges, they don't have to put guardrails, but on all the bridges.
That's basically what it's. Yes, it's more important to put a fence on your roof than to put a fence around the Rishus Harabim. Go figure, right? But that's what the pasuk says. Okay, but again, both of them say it has to be 10 tefach. If you say there's chavata less than 10, lamali asara, why 10? I mean, why do you need to put up for a mica 10? Does your roof need to be at least 10 tefachim high? Even if your roof is only 8 tefachim, let's say it's a small house for small people, right? So maybe you only need maybe less. So Malay shani bias the kol pachas me'asara lav biasu. Bias is different because if it's less than 10 tefachim, that's not considered a place that you could live. Same reason for a sukkah. Why does a sukkah need to be at least 10 tefachim high? Because it's not considered a normal place to live if it's less than 10 tefachim. So memela what? So what? So the Gemara means is that mica is only necessary if it's a bias under there. If it's not a bias, then midairaisa it doesn't need a mica, which is also very interesting then, because let's say you have a building that's not a house. Let's say you have a porch that's totally cemented in, but it's 40 inches off the ground. Do you need to put a fence? So midaraisa not, because there's not a bias under there. It has to be on top of a bias. Right? So we're saying anything less than 10 is not a bias, it doesn't need a mic. So what says so let's say you have on the outside the house is 10 tefachim high. Dalmine tikra, but you have a roof, right? Umaziva, and the plaster from the roof. Migavoy loy abi asaros. On the inside of the house, it's not 10 tefachim; it's way less. Meaning, if you measure the outside of the house and it's 10 tefachim, you have the thickness of the roof, right? And you have the plaster. So, meaning inside the house is not going to be 10 tefachim. So then, why should it be chayiv? So we say Amalek, you're going to chak migavoy. It's talking about where you dug down. You dug down like a basement a little bit, right? So meaning, even though the house on the outside looks like it's 10 tefachim, but when you dig down, you'll have your 10 tefachim. The Gemara asks on the first wide line, so then if the house is not on the outside 10, it could be 10 tefachim on the inside. If you're going to chak b'tvei, right? Dig out a lot, right? So then you could have the inside of the house is more than 10 tefachim, and the outside of the house is not 10 tefachim, right? So then that would be a situation that you would be chayav, because the inside of the house, again, we're asking a kasha on the shita that says that less than 10 tefachim, the guy can die from the impact. An animal can die. A person can die from the impact. Right? We said the reason why you need 10 tefachim is because it's not considered a bias. So Gemara says, okay, we found a situation where you could have 10 tefachim in the house, and the roof is still less than 10 tefachim, right? Where you dug down a lot. So now the Gemara changes. Ella, hainu time of the Ramah. Again, as we know, the word Ella means it's a new teretz, and we're erasing all the other teretz. The reason why Reb Nachman said that the treifa ox that fell only 6 tefachim into the irrigation ditch is treif. Savar mikresa the tura la'ara kamehavi. How much is it from the stomach of the shar to the ground? Meaning you have 4 legs, right? And then the height of the legs, the average height of the legs of a shar would be 6 tefachim. And then arba arisa. I'm sorry. So you're going the turulara kamahavi arba. I'm sorry, it's 4 tefachim. It's 4 tefachim from the floor to the stomach of the cow. Arisa the dloi kamahavi, and how much is the irrigation ditch? Shisa 6. Asara, that gives you 10. Right? You see that when it gets hit, it's really hitting 10. So what does this mean exactly? Don't the feet break the fall a little bit? right? So I don't know whether the feet fall flat out, Rachamim, and then it's I don't know. I wasn't sure how the feet. Maybe the feet don't break the fall. I mean, it's not falling flat. It's not falling on a belly flop, right?
Ah, I got it. Okay, I was trying to hit the mute button, demute, and I couldn't get the demute on here. The stupid phone. The the part that the animal gets hurt is its organs. So that's inside is a kishka, whatever it is, that gets damaged, that causes it to be a treif or causes it to die, is not his legs. It's
Right.
that part inside his belly. So they're measuring from that down to the floor, down. They're measuring that. It must be minus the legs because it's only 4 tefachim to the legs, but it's 6 tefachim in the amma there. So in the ditch. The Amazamayim or whatever it is over there. So they got 10 tefachim. So what's actually hitting the ground is that part of the animal, it's kishkas, not its feet. It's not landing on its feet like we do.
The feet break its fall.
I don't think so. If he lands on his feet, you're right. But the heavier, whenever you have something that's falling in the air, the heavier part eventually falls down quicker. So like if you shoot an arrow in the air, the arrowhead is eventually going to be the part that hits them down. So the heavier part of the behemoth is the kishkas of the behemoth. That's what's going to end up falling.
So you're telling me that when it falls, it goes spread out like a guy skydiving like this?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would see. The way I see it is that the part of the animal that causes its death is not that its feet hit the ground, but that its body hits the ground.
You have to say it goes over sideways into the ditch.
Yeah.
No, the Gemara's teretz is going to be that it falls backwards. The Gemara is going to say a different teretz soon, that it fell backwards on its back.
The same thing.
It fell sideways, not feet first. Not feet first. Either sideways or on its back.
Right. So whichever way, If it falls feet first, it's not getting damaged. Plus, is there water in this irrigation ditch or not? Is it full of water?
I don't know. That's going to be on number base. Okay, so let's see. Ella. Right? So when it says, Ella Masid B'Katani Ma Bar Shu Kidei Lamas Yutfachim. Af Kol Sheyesh B'Kidei Lamas Yutfachim. B'Shisa Nami Sagi. Now Gemara is saying, okay, so now that Reb Nachman says his word, that there's 4 tefachim from the stomach of the cow to the ground, and then there's 6 tefachim. So then, really, you only need a bar of 6 tefachim to be mechayev, right? So Gemara says, "Ami masnisen the gander lebar." This Mishnah is talking about where he rolled into the bar, right? So he didn't fall feet first; he fell back first. He did a what do you call it? A backflip, or on the side. So it can't be on the side because then Gershon's teretz from the previous Gemara is not a teretz. So it must be that it fell on its back, and therefore you need 10 tefachim of height.
It could be. It could be either the side or the back in this. The point is that it was sleeping, so its legs weren't under it. Well, it could be under it, but it was flat on the ground. Its body was on the ground.
Okay, so then it's masha before it wasn't.
It would make sense if it rolled onto the side, because if it's walking, one of its legs, there's nothing underneath one of its legs, and it's top heavy, so it'll roll over. As it's falling, it'll just, so it makes sense it would fall on its side.
Okay, but the Gemara is saying that it was sleeping on the next to the bar and it rolled in. Mashma that if it would be walking, it would fall on its feet. But you're right, top heavy, it should flip over.
Oh, mashma that if it would be walking, the question would be correct. All the bar needs to be would be 6, not 10.
Correct.
Which is true, because it would fall belly first or back first. Either way, it falls belly or back first.
But Iran is saying that probably doesn't ever fall feet first.
Right.
Because it's top heavy. That's what Rahman was saying also. Or, I don't know if it's bottom.
Because 3 of its feet are still going to be attached to the ground. So if it's falling over away from its feet.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So that's sugi. Bottom line is is normally a bar has to be 10 tvachim. Maybe theoretically it could be only 6 tvachim if it fell feet first, with the assumption it's not falling feet first. Okay, right.
That's only according to Shmuel, though. According to Rav, that wouldn't help.
According to Rav, right? According to Rav, right, correct. According to Rav, that's it's a hevel issue. So then it's just a hevel issue, right? Then you have to. It doesn't have hevel less than 10. Fine. Bar shel shnei exact the Mishnah. Bar shel shnei shutfin. You have a bar that belongs to 2 partners. So the first one walked by it, and he didn't cover it, right? Vasheni, and then the second guy didn't cover it either, right? It's each one was saying about the other one that the other guy's going to cover it. I think it's the other guy. So the last guy that didn't cover it, Hasheni Chayev, right? Meaning the last one out locked the door, and the last guy out didn't lock the door. So he's gonna be Chayev, right? So the thing is, though, we're gonna have to see on Amid Bays, which we'll probably see tomorrow's stuff, that it doesn't mean they're both not Chayev for digging a bar. They both own the bar in Rishus Harabim. It's just because the last guy wasn't there doesn't mean that just because the last guy was the last one there doesn't mean the first guy's not Chayev, right? So, but we'll have to see exactly how it plays out.
What does that mean? We're saying one of them is chayev and the other one is not. No.
What?
Aren't we saying one of them is chayev and the other one is not?
Yes, but that's because we're going to see that it's not just the way the Mishnah sounds like. It's the second one is chayev because he didn't cover it. So what? But the first guy should be chayev because he helped dig the bar too. That's just not about the last guy that covered it. Right, so we're going to see, and on the base, basically, Gemara is going to say somewhere where they were both using the bar, and then the last guy actually used it and didn't cover it. Not just that they walked by, because if 2 guys dig a bar together, right, then they're both going to be chayiv. They both dug the bar. Right, we're talking about in a unique situation where the second guy was the only guy using the bar, and then he left. Meaning the first guy's using the bar, and he tells the second guy, by the way, cover it when you're done. And he doesn't cover it. So then the second guy's responsible. But Stam, they both dig a bar and go on their merry way. There's no reason why I think the last guy standing next to the bar is going to be chayiv, and the first guy not. Okay, we'll see in the Gemara. So first the Gemara is trying to deal with, how do you have a bar of shutfim? Because again, a bar has to be hefker. Right? In order to be chayiv on a bar, so the bar has to be hefker. So what's going on is that it belongs to shutfim. So Amri bar shel shnei shutfim heichi mishkachasa. How do you find the case of a bar that belongs to 2 shutfim? Hanicha isvir lanka Rebbe Kiva. It's going to be all like Rebbe Kiva from yesterday's daf, right? From that hard Gemara Damar bar b'shus chayiv that he holds at a bar in somebody's own rishus is chayiv, right? But he has to make sure he makes the whole area around the bar hefker, because otherwise nobody has permission to walk there. You find the case where both of them own the bar and both of them own the chatzah. They were mafkir the rishus and they were not mafkir the bar. But if we hold that the bar in his rishus is potter, like Rabbi Kiva, like Rabbi Shmuel, I'm sorry, how do you find the case where a guy's chayiv rishus harabim? If is it in rishus harabim, right? It was rishus harabim bar shel shnei shuvim heich mishkachas. How are you finding it in rishus harabim that it's a bar that belongs to partners? Either shavu shliach tavayu v'amri leizil kariv. If both of them made a shliach and they made a shliach for a guy to go dig them a bar in rishus harabim, amri leizil karilan v'azal karilan when he goes and digs the hole for them, ain't shliach l'dvar aveira, right? So we learned in Kedushin, there's no such thing as shliach l'dvar aveira. This guy, you're sending the guy out to dig a bar in rishus harabim. Ain't shliach l'dvar aveira. V'i t'chara hay chamisha v'hay chamisha. And if you're going to say, okay, one dug 5 and the other one dug 5, nistalku l'ma'aser rishon, and the first guy's potter because he only dug 5 tvachim. The second guy dug 5 tvachim. Maybe that would be the case, but that only fits.
Is this a chiddush in Ein Shliach L'Dvar Aveira? They didn't send them to do an Aveira. They sent them to dig a bar and put a lid on it. Maybe. Why is that L'Dvar Aveira? Unless you say that anything that something bad comes out of is L'Dvar Aveira. 'Cause
Yeah, well, he wasn't doing a mitzvah, that's for sure.
Why? He was really.
But all the guys who work for the phone company are doing it Dvar Avera.
Wait a minute, digging the hole?
Yeah,
right,
the guys who dig the holes.
Yeah.
No, but they're doing it for the rabbin.
So they also told him to do it for the rabbin.
They didn't.
You asked the question before we started the Masechta. You said what? You said what is the aver
there is no lav. There is no lav.
Yeah, so you said the no lav. So
well,
unless
if they
it's just
told
an expression,
him to go,
no, seems like no. You're asking what avera is there to dig a hole? That's what Racham is bringing out your question. Meaning, what you're asking? What's the avera to dig a hole?
Well, I was asking even more than that, but yeah, let's go start with that.
The avera is the damage. That's what you're asking. I think that's what you.
So if they told him to go dig a boir to damage passersby, that would be an avera. Is that what we're saying they did? They wanted to cause damage here? That was the purpose, the entire purpose of this boir is to cause damage.
Yes. All right. I think. I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. It's a shiloh. It is a shiloh. What exactly is the isser? I mean, it's ain't shliach l'dvar avera. What Gershon's asking, ain't shliach l'dvar avera. What is the avera that the guy is doing? Right? Is there an avera to dig a hole in Rosh Hashanah? So there might be lefnei v'lesitin mishul. Right? Okay, but yeah, fine. So again, if it's digging a bar Rosh Hashanah, it's ain't shliach l'dvar avera. Right? And if one dug half and the other one dug half, so then the first guy is nothing. There's nothing. He didn't do anything wrong. So Gemara says, well, that's not even true. It's good according to Rebbe Ulam Mizakin, and it's for damage. Mishkacha. So then you find that case where the first guy, where both of them will be chayiv, which Gemara is going to discuss in a minute. Rebbe Ulam Misa, but Lefi Rebbe, and it's on about death. And according to Rabbanon, whether it's Misa or Nezakin, Heichim Shkachas, how do you find it? Because according to Rabbanon, we look at both of them that they're in on it. And according to Rebbe, for death, if one guy digs 5, then the second guy digs 5, it's only the second guy that's chayiv. The first guy's not. For damages, they're both chayiv. According to Rabbanon, in both cases, only the second guy's chayiv. So again, that according to them, how are you going to work it out? So Rabbi Yochanan, going to akru shnei and chulya b'vas achas v'shni v'lasara. Talking about where they both picked up the one chulya, the one piece of dirt at one time, and they both were involved in getting the bar to 10 tefachim deep. So that's how you get a bar that belonged to partners in Rishus Harab. Fine. Now, my Rebbe, my Rabbanon, what is this machlokes Rebbe and Rabbanon? Tanya, echad achayfer bar b'tisha. Let's say one guy dug a bar 9 tefachim. Uba acher b'shnim l'asara. Meaning, so the guy that dug the bar 9 tefachim, it's not going to damage. Comes along another guy and digs it down to 10. So ha'acharin chayiv. The last guy is chayiv. Right? The Rabbanon say that last guy's chayiv because the first guy only dug till 9. Rebbe,
didn't we have that already? We had those cases already.
We had it already.
We had it where a guy dug to damage the last foot, and the guy dug the last foot to misa.
Same case. This is the source for the case. Yeah, very good. Right. So echad achayfer bar tishu bo achar v'shlim l'asara achar in chayim. Rebbe Omer achar in the misa. Rebbe says no. For misa we go after the second guy. Achar shneim l'nizakim. But for damage we go after both of them. Right, so that's the machlokes. My time at the Rabbanon. Why the Rabbanon say that they're both chayiv for let's go. Let's say the Rabbanon. I'm sorry. Right, why Rebbe holds for death you go after the last guy, but for damages you go after both because we know it does less than 10. It does damages. So what about how come the Rabbanon don't say you go after both? My time the Rabbanon don't makra Ki yiftach v'chi yichra, right? Like we said, it says two things. If a man uncovers, opens, and yichra is digs. If a guy opens a bar, meaning the bar was there before, all he does is take off the cover, he's chayev. So then somebody digs an actual bar, like kol shekain. So what's it coming for? It's coming to include a case where one guy dug and then another guy dug. That the second guy removes the first guy's meiser because the first guy didn't dig a bar big enough to do any sort of damage. Well, he did, but since the other guy took it over, so then he's the second guy takes it over. Rebbe, and what about Rebbe? You need both of these cases because I'm Rinon, like we said a blot ago, right? In that hard Gemara from yesterday's stuff we did on Thursday night, right? So we needed. We said that there's two reasons why it says ki yichra and ki yiftach ki yichra, right? What did we say it was? Right. One of them was that you think that in order for him to be chai, to be potter, you'd have to fill in the dirt. You'd have to fill in the whole thing with dirt. Just putting a cover on it wouldn't be enough. Kamash Milan, that just covering it is enough. That was one of them. Okay. But Rabbanan Namid Mr. Whether Rabbanan also need the two psukim for the Gemara that before Elahin time of the Rabbanan Amar Kroki Yichra Ishbar. When a man digs a bar, Echad v'lo shnayim. It's only one and not two. Right? So meaning only one person's chayiv and not two. Rebbe, Hahumi Baile, and Rebbe says we need it for Ki Yichra Ishbar v'lo sharbar. If a man digs a bar and not a shar. Rabbanan Trei Ishbar Ksivi. It says it twice. So one is for a man and one is for a shar. For Rebbe, I did the cos of high. And Rebbe says, well, once it said it once, it's going to say the other one. Fine. Then we're asking, according to the Rabbanan, who's saying that the pasuk means to be mechayev only one person. Who says it's the second guy? Maybe it's the first guy, right? Don't think that. Says the mace will be to him. Hahu the ka'avid misa. It's going in the gun that is the one that is doing the misa, which is the second guy. First guy only dug it 5 tachim. The second guy is the one that dug it to 5 tachim. That's going to kill him. Okay. Then I'm going to ask, don't we need it for Rabba? That's psuli and mikdashim that falls into a bar potter is potter. Shenemar b'meis yeloi. The misha hameis shaloi. It's dafka for the mace. That the mace is his own. Meaning, if the mace doesn't belong to anybody, like a puzzle carbon, then it doesn't. Then it's not his, right? So they make a puzzle. Hektish doesn't have an owner. Hektish is not an owner because he was paid it. And it's not his, so that's a potter. Amri, so why don't we say that? Amri, b'lav memela shamas mineh. Don't we hear that from it memela, right? The bahu da'av and misa askina. We're talking about the one that the one who made it, who killed it. Well, they didn't really kill it, but who made it that the bar was deep enough to be killed. I mean, you can learn out both. Right? Because it has to be, so it has to be that it's the guy that killed him, and meaning it's the guy that dug it deep enough, and it's also including or excluding something that doesn't have an owner. Okay. Fine. Right. If somebody digs a bar 10 tefachim, and then another guy comes and digs at 20. Now, here's a different case. Till now, we were talking about a case where the first guy dug it not enough. Right? Then the second guy came, and then the second guy dug it enough. The second case, this guy dug it enough, and then somebody came and doubled the depth. Right? So, and then another guy came and did 20. And then the other guy did 30 tefachim. Kulon chayav, and in that case, they're all chayav. Right? So if a guy dug a bar 10 tefachim, and then a guy comes and he plasters, and he kayin means he draws pictures, right? So when you plaster, like we had in the Gemara before, when you have the plaster, the thickness of the ceiling goes down. It's the same thing in the bar. So this guy came and actually made the bar smaller. Then ha'acharein chayiv. Then only the last guy's chayiv, right? So it's coming out where the first guy dug it properly, and the second guy came and adjusted it. Yeah. So what's a pshat? So lema on Tamar Beis now. Lema haRevi haRabbanan. Why don't we say that one is Rebbe and one is the Rabbanan? Right? I mean, this is a raya that it's Hevel, no? Wouldn't this be a raya that it's Hevel? What's the second guy doing? A guy dug a bar 10, and then the other guy comes and puts plaster and all that. So he's actually making the bar smaller. Right?
So the air is going to become hotter, like more foul.
Right. So that means we're dealing with a foul air thing, not a impact thing. Right?
Although it could be that if the ground is soft and he added concrete, then the chavat is going to be worse.
Is that what it is?
I think Rashi's only saying it that way to answer how the hevel could be worse. If 10 tefachim supplies enough hevel to kill an animal, why would this make it worse, better, anything? It is 10 tefachim. So what's the second and the third guy doing? But the chavta, of course, it adds. It makes the chavata a lot worse.
Okay, I didn't understand it that way, but okay, maybe that's pshat. Okay, whatever it is, so it's a stira, right? So on Tamar Beis, and when it says lema ha Rebbe ha Rabbanan, when we say one is Rebbe and one is the Rabbanan, right? Meaning the brayso that says Yechayev is Rebbe, right? Since he did a shear for damage, so he's considered a partner, and he's Chayev, and one is the Rabbanan, we put him. Some Rabbis vid no haba ha Rabbanan, they both talk about the Rabbanan. Adkan lo yikam Rabbanan acharon Chayev ela hechad deloy abed Kamma shear misa. Maybe they only said that the guy is Chayev, the last guy's Chayev. That's where the first guy didn't do a shear of misa. He only went 9 tefachim. Ela hechad abed Kamma shear misa, where the first guy did an actual shear of misa. The Rabbanan might the kulan chayavim. The Rabbanan would be might. Right, a simple difference. The first case where the Rebbe and Rabbanan are arguing is where the first guy didn't do a shear to damage or to kill. The second guy is the one that got it to the shear. Right? This and the other case is where the first guy dug it 10 tefachim. Whereas it was Sayed V'Kayed is a kasha, but the guy that finishes the inside with cement and stuff like that, the Gava Kamma shear misa. The first guy did a shear misa, but Katani Acharon Chayev, and we said that the Acharon is Chayev. So you say Amri Hasam Shaloy Hevel Misa. Then they didn't have enough Hevel for Misa, which Rashi says that the bar was very wide. And then the other guy comes and adds Hevel, right? Meaning because he made it smaller, so he took down the amount of space in there.
But what does that mean? 10 tvachim, you're gonna have the foul air. You're gonna have the bad air that's gonna kill him.
No, so Rashi seems to adjust that it has the 10 tefachim, but in the width it was very wide, so it had a lot more air. Right?
In other words, if you dig a foundation for a house, that space is so large, it could be as deep as you want, but there's no hevel in there.
Right. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to the bottom exactly how much hevel, but that's what it's saying. It's so wide, and now this guy made it smaller with his cement and his, all his finishing it. Some say the other way around. They're both Rebbe. Shopper. The one that says they're all chayev is shopper. The one that says that the last one is chayiv by hevel loyla misa v'loyla nizaken. Somewhere where there was no hevel, not for misa and not for nizaken. Uba acher v'haisiv by hevel bein lemisa bein nizaken. And then the other guy came and added hevel, whether it was for misa or for nizaken. Right? Okay, fine. Omar Rabba. So let's say you have a bar that was less than 10. Then they went and they put rocks around the outside of the bar, and now the bar is 10. So they didn't increase the hevel down there, they increased it from the top, not from the bottom. So Banan Lamachlaikis, Rabbi Rabbanan. That's the same Machlaikis, Rabbi Rabbanan. Right, one guy only dug it 9. Then the other guy came and put stones around and made it 10. So that's the same Machlaikis. So says Pshita, yeah, why not? It's the same Machlaikis. When answers the same when it's on the bottom, so then it's the bad air that kills it, right? But on the top, it's not his hevel. The hevel belonged to the first guy, even though he only dug hevel for 9 tvachim, right? But the bottom line is it's his hevel. And why is it more hevel? Because the guy added on the top. So you would think that, yes, granted, the guy on the top increased the hevel down there, but it wasn't his hevel. His hevel was on the top. Same Malay, you'd think maybe he's not chayiv kamashullah, and was saying that it would be machlokes Rabbi and the Rabbah.
How do you add a tefach on the top?
By adding rocks around it
to make, okay, you're making it higher.
Right, and the mamela you're higher, so it has less fresh air. Right? But again, the fresh air on the bottom, who's the one that made that not fresh air? It was really the first guy. I guess the Gemara is not understanding that the air mixes. I guess it's stagnant air. I guess that's what you'd have to say. Okay, so then Gemara asks a bunch of kashas. Boy Rava, Shilas, I'm sorry. Boy Rava. Tam tefach. So we're talking about where a guy, it was dug by one guy 9 tefachim, another guy came along and dug it down to 10 tefachim, and then he filled it in. Right, so tam tefach, he filled it with a tefach, the sila kavanov, or in the second case, the one we just had, where he added stones around it, he removed them. Mao, what's the din? Mi amrin and maida ovad shakli. Do we say that he made the bar into a damaging bar, but then he took it away? I do in the stalku ma'aser rishon, or do we say, well, the first guy's ma'aser was totally removed, but kamalei kule b'reshusay, and now the whole thing is in the second guy's reshus. Right? And Memela, it still has the ability to do damage. Right? So Rashi says this is going to feed the Rabbana. Right? That the second guy would be totally chayiv. Right? Fine. So Gemara says, Teiku. It's we don't know. Fine. Let's say you have a bar that was 8 tvachim deep, umehen shnei tvachim mayim. And from the 2 tvachim, there's water, right? So then it died because of the bad, it couldn't breathe, or the bad stuff that was smelling down there. Chayiv, so he's chayiv, right? Now it was only 8 tvachim deep, but there was water. My time, a kol tefach the maya kitrei the yavashadam. A tefach worth of water is like 2 of dry. So Mamela, it's considered deeper. If you have a bar that's 9 and there was 1 tefach water, maybe in that case there's not a lot of water. There's no there's no hevel. Or do you say, well, the bar was deeper? Maybe there's more havala, right? So bar, that's one case. And then the other way, bar shiva, there was a bar of 7 tvachim, and we had shloisha tvachim mayim, and from there was 3 tvachim of water. What's the case? Do we say, since there's a lot more water than Memela, there's more hevel? Maybe since it's only 7 tvachim deep, there's no hevel down there, so teiku, it's a teiku. I had a ma'aser with my uncle. I don't know if Peretz remembers this. My uncle Oscar, actually great uncle. So my father comes running into Bismedish one day and he says that my uncle fell down an elevator shaft. We'll go to visit him. So what happened is Parrots, you remember this?
I remember he fell down the shaft, but yeah.
He was a dark, for states if they weren't taking care of the building, the hallway was dark, the elevator opened, the elevator didn't show up. He couldn't see. He walked right in there and he fell. Now there was water at the bottom of the elevator shaft. His Mexican worker saw him fall and jumped down in there and held his head above the water. And that's what saved him until they yelled, until somebody found him. It was pre-cell phone days, right? That it was water down there and it's hevel and the whole deal. And this Mexican guy jumped in there and that saved his life, right? Otherwise, he could be down there even out of Yamazen. Nobody have any idea, right? I'm saying, but the water.
Yeah, the two violations, yeah. One, the elevator didn't show up. B, there's not supposed to be water in there. The water saved his life.
Yeah, well, the water saved his life. But
stop the recording for this.
We don't know who the builder was. Yeah. So anyway, so whatever it is, that was when I saw this Gemara, I was thinking, Taka, there's water at the bottom of the Hevel. I don't know if it created Hevel, didn't create Hevel, but whatever. Anyways, okay, one more Gemara to the two dots. Yeah, Bo Mine Rav Shizmi Me Rabba. Oh, so this is what we're saying before. You widen the pit, right? Meaning the guy dug a pit, right? Yud, Rashi says. So now there's enough hevel. Then somebody came and made the pit wider. So now what's the din? Yeah. So Amarlei Hare Miyat Havala. Why should he be chayiv? He made less hevel. The wider
so it's confusing to me. So when we say a bor that
you got company. Yeah.
A bor that's Yud Tzvachim kills. How wide is that? Nobody ever tells us the width.
There's no shear.
But now you're telling me if he makes it wider, how much wider?
Right, exactly.
How much wide did it have to be to begin with?
So the Gemara is going to discuss it a little bit. The Gemara really doesn't say exactly, but we'll get, at least the Gemara will give Epis something. But you're right. But this second guy, Lamaisa, should have. What do you mean? Why should he be chayiv? He made, if anything, he made more air in there, right? He made it wider. Amalei, so he said back to him, Adarabba, Hare Kiruv Hazeka. This is like, sometimes you have a glaring machlokes where you see where you understand the two sides very well. So the first one saying, why should the second guy be chayiv? He made a wider bar, so he put more air in there. The second sheet is, what do you mean? He made the mouth of the bar wider, so now there's more of a chance of animals falling in.
The hole is bigger, it's wider.
Right? Well, you could say both sides have a good point, right? So both sides have a good point. Yeah, I'm not that in every other machlokes they don't have a good point, but I guess I actually understand both sides for this one, right? So Elom Ravashi, Nechseyanan. So let's see. Meaning we have to go down, then we have to take a field trip and see what's going on. We got to take out our hevel detector, right? Iba volamayis. If the reason why the animal, I guess you have to do an autopsy on the animal, really. Iba volamayis. If it died from the hevel haramiyat havola, so then it must be that the
necropsy.
He made it. What?
The word necropsy, not autopsy.
Okay. I'm gonna ask why, but okay. All right. So Hare Miyat Havel. This guy actually made it less hevel, so he's not chayiv. Even chavatamais, but if it died from impact, Hare Kirav Azeka. This guy made it closer because he made the thing wider. Ikadamri Amaravashi Nefsiyanan Imea he gisa nafal. If it fell from this side, meaning the side that this guy widened it, Hare Kirav Azeka. He made this has it closer. He made a gisa nafal, and if it fell from the other side, Hare Miyat Havala. He made less hevel. So you have to analyze, you have to just take a field trip and analyze what's going on over there. Fine. Itmar, we learned. Bar sha'imka kirachva, right? So this maybe answers your question, David. You have a bar who's the bar, the width, the how do you call it? The depth is the same size, it's a square, as meaning so it's 10 tfachim down and 10 tfachim wide. Right? So Rabbi Yosef, Damar Devayu, Mishmei, the Rabbi Rachana, Damar Mishmei, the Rebbe, money, Mishmei the Rebbe, money, that's a name. Chad Omar la'olam yesh hevel. There's always hevel in a bar. Actually, rechava yeser almka. The width has to be wider, which means that according to this, you'd have to have at least 11 tfachim or 10.1 tfachim. to reduce the hevel. There's no hevel until the depth is more than the width, right? So meaning, according to all shitas, when it's deeper than it is wide, then it's going to have hevel in it. The shaila is if it's wider than the depth, right? Then that's the shaila, or when it's exactly the same, right? So it comes out that this really does answer the question. Anything less than 10 tefachim wide is going to be, according to everybody, hevel down there. It's only a matter of if it's exactly the same, if that's enough or not. Okay, we'll stop over here. I mean, there's another 2 dots, but it's late already, so we'll stop there. All right, let's say a tillim.
We're always thinking of a bore as as something that's totally all sides of it has the same depth. But if you're on, let's say, on a hill or something where they started digging at 0 depth, and they kept digging until they got 20 feet into it, and then 20 feet into the hole, even though the bottom of it is level, but you got to over there, then it's more than 10 tefachim high. It seems like the same thing, but you wouldn't ever have